To the children who wrestled the serpent, with both palms saying grace, born of the concrete, with their heads in the clouds, and both souls planted in the ground. Remember your roots, arose from the gutter. You are much more. You are God's child. You are much more. You are the children who conquered the serpent.
For the beat.
Well, welcome to Rise, our annual fundraiser. Tonight, it's about our young leaders who we call street leaders. We want to give them the opportunity and platform to share about their experiences being raised as leaders in Toronto community housing. Our mission at Urban Promise Toronto is to reach children in Toronto community housing with the love of Jesus and to raise them into leaders who restore their community. And what that looks like is starting at a young age of 5 through our after-school programs, summer camps, March break camps, all free. And when they get to the age of 15 to 19, we develop them as young leaders, who we call street leaders. We're providing meaningful employment and volunteer opportunities where they learn leadership skills and they get mentorship and discipleship. And when they get to the age of 19 to 25, they are now the ones that are restoring their community. They're now the role models, influencing their neighborhoods. They become those leaders that who we release into their communities to be young professionals. They go off to college and university. They get plugged into a local church, and they become basically Christ-centered leaders wherever they are. And many people don't know about Toronto Community Housing, but it's the second largest social housing provider in all of North America, home to around over 104,000 residents. There's around 35% of them are children between ages of 0 to 24, and being led by 80% of them single parent moms. And so today it's about our young leaders and give them the opportunity and that platform to share with you their experiences and how they're being raised as leaders who restore their community. Our goal today is to raise $25,000 to invest in our young leaders to provide employment opportunities, mentorship, leadership skills development. And so I want you to sit back and enjoy our time. I want to take this time to introduce our host who will lead you through this 20-year journey of reaching children, raise them into leaders who restore community. And so welcome Trisha and Christine.
Hi everyone, I'm Trisha.
And I'm Christine.
And we're your hosts for tonight for Rise. Now Rise, as you heard from Sean, it's one of our annual fundraisers, and it's specifically geared towards supporting our Raise and Restore program participants. We're raising funds for a generation of young leaders who restore their communities. But before we do that, we reach children.
From ages 5 to 14, we invest in children who live in Toronto community housing neighborhoods. During the stage, our primary focus is on cultivating relationships and winning trust.
Let's have a look at our REACH program.
Favorite thing about Urban Promise is hanging out with little kids. They really talk.
My favorite activity is gym.
My favorite thing to do at camp is playing dodgeball. I like to go to Urban Promise because it's fun.
Recently at Word Up, I've learned the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve, and God gives us a choice in life because He loves us. And He made the garden to protect us from sin.
There was a big, beautiful garden on planet Earth, but there were two people named Adam and Eve.
God created dogs and cats and ladybugs.
He wasn't really mad at the people. He was just pretty much mad at the sins themselves.
knowing that God loves me, I feel more like confidence, and knowing I'm loved, I don't put any words down or actions anyone has showed to me, and I actually work hard so I can have a nice future and just be confident no matter what. I hope to be a street leader someday so I can really connect with all the other leaders like personally, and I can like be around them more, because with like everything that we do together, and I can actually help like the kids even more, because now I'm just like a camper, so I'm just like there as like a second support. But with being a leader, I could actually like be hands-on on helping them. I admire my street leaders because I see that they are caring and bold and like creative with their art style and games, and they're really fun to be around. And I like how they're always willing to do like anything for the kids and for themselves, and I really look up to them. Most of all, I see them trusting in Jesus.
Those kids are so cute. I remember them from March Break Camp.
They are. Well, here's a fun fact about Urban Promise Toronto. For the 24 years that we have been operating in Toronto, combined, our staff has 150 years experience working in Toronto community housing. We take our 20-year journey with children and their families very seriously.
And sometimes that means having the gift of having a child from one of our past Urban Promise participants in our program.
Everyone, meet Kadesha.
Hi, my name is Kadesha Lindsay, and I'm here to share a bit of my story about my experience with Urban Promise. When I was a child, at about the age of 11, I was fortunate enough to have the opportunity to participate in the camp, and it was amazing for me. It was such a great experience. I remember just always wanting to be there, always wanting to go to camp and have fun with my friends and learn from the street leaders who were like played such a huge role in my life in terms of positive role models. And I'm so glad that my son Zion is able to have that same experience. And from the stories that he shares with me, I can tell that he loves it the way I did, and he has a lot of similar experiences in terms of the programs and the fun that they have and the way that they make learning and worship fun, you know? So that has been very powerful. One of the things that I remember from camp was my experience with the street leaders. I just remember them being so supportive and so patient with us. They were just like a huge part of my life, you know, and even now to this day, I mean, we are still connected on Facebook, you know. I want them to know that the impact that they left on my life as a child was very strong, and it's felt to this day. For me, growing up, inside the home, we weren't very religious. It's not until I came to camp when I was exposed to religion and really learning about God and worship and faith. That was my first experience of getting to truly know God. And one of the many things that I appreciate about my experience in camp was the way that they introduced worship to us. It was really interactive, and we really wanted to get involved. It wasn't, I know sometimes when we, you know, there's like this stigma that worship can be boring. I thought that, you know, coming into my experience at camp, but I soon learned that it can be so much fun and so fulfilling. So I'm just so grateful for my experience with Urban Promise. So when I first moved to Glenmorgan, there was a community barbecue, and I remember I was there with my son and I saw Kelly there. I literally saw Kelly, and I'm like, okay, does she recognize me? So I went over and she recognized me, and I'm like, Kelly, and she was like, Kadesha, and she looked the same, and we had a moment, and it was just really great. But then she told me about Camp Truth. So I started to look into getting my son involved, and He was able to join Camp Truth, luckily, and it's been great. It's been a great experience for him so far. You know, yeah, I can see that he really loves coming here, and he talks about his experience a lot. He tells me stories. He shows me magic tricks, and I'm really happy that he's able to have the same experience that I had, because it was a great one. To this day, I truly believe that my experience with Urban Promise has helped shape the woman that I am today. And I'm so happy that Zion too will get to experience what I experienced. That brings me a lot of joy. In the 3 years that Zion has been a part of Urban Promise, I have noticed not only is he really excited to be here, but he has more of an interest into knowing God and knowing more about who he is. When he talks to me about his experiences at camp, I can feel the passion, and I can see, it's like his face lights up, you know, and it makes me so happy to know that he's amongst positive role models who encourage him to know God. He doesn't have a lot of positive role models in his life outside of here. So that's extremely important to us. When I was asked to give my story for Rise 2022, I didn't hesitate, because I knew the impact that the Street Leaders had on my life, and I know that they will have the same impact on Zion's life. And that's so powerful. I think this is a great initiative, and I'm hoping that the Street Leaders are able to get all the support that they need and that they truly deserve. And who knows, maybe one day Zion will even become a Street Leader himself.
I think almost every camper dreams of being a street leader once they hit 15.
Yeah, I can attest to that. I've seen some excitement about that for sure. Now, once a child turns 15, with the relationship and trust we've developed, our focus shifts to ensuring that they have the knowledge and skills they need to be a healthy contributor to their communities and society as a whole.
Street leaders are key to our programs. Employing these young leaders to serve and to run our after-school, March break, and summer camps gives them a sense of belonging and hope. Not to mention opportunities to develop their leadership skills, increase their sense of identity, and future earning potential.
These years are often an intense time for youth, as naturally they're coming into the age of figuring out their own independence and their place in the world. So we walk alongside them, and as they learn their God-given purpose and how they can live that each and every day.
Through our team's intentional mentorship with the Street Leaders, they are coached on how to manage their emotions, conflict management, and make sound life decisions.
Well, guys, let's hear from our Street Leaders.
All right, guys, so thank you guys for coming out. And being available to share your story with us. We really appreciate that. We want everyone to know who you guys are, so we're gonna start off by saying your name and which campsite you guys are from.
All right. Hi, my name is Rico. I'm from Camp Hope.
Hi, my name is Shanice, and I am from Camp Truth.
My name is Matthias. I'm from Camp Hope.
My name is Jada. I'm from Camp Truth also.
All right, so for the first question, describe to us a memory that really just encompasses your experience and your joy of being a street leader.
For me, being a street leader with Camp Truth, it was during summer. Every Friday we would play games with kids, whether that's going outside, having like water balloon fights, doing scavenging hunts, and a game of Jeopardy.
Mm-hmm.
And that memory, or those times like in the summer, it just showed how much I loved being around the kids. Like the energy they gave, the smartness, the intelligence they have. It honestly just like spoke to me. Just like, this is why I'm a street leader. Like making a difference in these kids' lives is honestly the best thing that I could possibly do.
Yeah, that definitely reminds me of like when I was like in camp. So I'm not a street leader, but when I was a kid, we used to go to like this big church, and we used to have like all camp day, and it was like all the camps would come, and we would have like this big water fight, and it was just like any corner you go, you're either met with a water gun or like a water balloon. It was like, you know, those times I could say like those were like my core like childhood memories, like, you know, having fun like with everyone and like community. Like that's what camp and being a street leader is, like being around people you love and having fun.
That's definitely one of the biggest things that I love working with camp, is definitely making those memories with the kids. Because, you know, we only live once, and kids are fun to hang out with. They are cool, bro. You know, it's all worth it in the end, because when, you know, that days when they come up to you and they ask you for help, you feel like, you know, you're the only one that can help them. That's how I feel sometimes. I'm like, I love that feeling. It's like, yes, come to Tweety for help.
Yes. I would say that the basketball that we play at camp perfectly recognizes like everything that goes on there. You get the attitude, you get the friendship, the competitiveness,
Jeopardy.
You get like all of it in one place. And you know, I love playing basketball. The kids like playing. They like you know, trying to beat me.
You see, the thing.
I am an unstoppable.
You see, the thing that's funny is he used to never be this confident. Like when we used to play ball with this guy, like. He's tall now, but like when I first met him, like he was a little brother, you know. But like now, like, you know, since I can see him taking up the role of like being like big brothers to like all the other kids, and it's crazy to see because he was that to me at some point, and now he's that to like other people, and that's where it's like the full circle moment for me is just like, dang, like you really do have an impact in these kids' lives. Like reach a kid, raise a leader, and restore the community. That's really what's going on. Like, and you guys are like living proof, and I'm living proof too. Like that's what's going to be coming out of the work that we're doing right now. It's just gonna take time.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So just to kind of go into that a little bit more. So you see the transition of like your confidence getting bigger and bigger. How would you say that came about? Like, what helped you become more confident in your role as a leader?
I feel like the more I was welcomed by the kids, I was able to actually like embrace that welcoming. Because at first, obviously, I was scared. I was like so scared of these kids. You know, as time went on and they let me interact with them, I was able to help them. And I realized like this isn't too bad. Like I can do this. And then, you know, as I grew up, as I got more respect, as I got taller and stuff like that, that all just helped me be a stronger leader because they looked up to me even more.
Yo, they be grown up. They look up to you like for real, for real. That's when I was just like, damn, should I be a little worried? This guy trying to take my position right now. Like kids would be asking for extras sometimes, and I'll be there. I'm like, y'all forget me? Like it's not a jealousy thing. It's more of like, you know, everything and everyone has their time, you know? And like, I feel like now I can be more like of a mentor to you. And it's like, before, like I had mentors and like now I'm following in that position of like having my own mentees. And it's just like, whoa, I'm old now.
That's definitely a very real feeling. Like kids looking up to you for mentorship. It's different. But I also like it as well. Like I feel like it's just building me up for the real world of being an actual mentor in the future. So I like it. Yeah. It's challenging, but you know.
What has been your experience like with Christianity, and how has Urban Promise played a role in that?
Growing up, okay, so I've always gone to church growing up. But like for a while, it kind of stopped. But then I started going back again with my grandma. Like I'll go there every weekend, so I would go there. You know, but overall, I do believe in God. And spiritually, I do want to connect with him on a deeper level, hopefully in a very near future. So, you know, Mama Kel, shout out to her, got my Bible. Yes. So I'm going to start reading it pretty soon. And I definitely am like trying to go in there open-minded, reading the Bible and trying to understand God and his journey more. So yeah.
And like so we have like Bible study with Mama Kel's, you know, Jada, Cara, all the street leaders, and we would just sit and just talk about like God's message, like God's passage, why he's really here. And so it came to this one point where there was a swimming pool, and there was someone swimming in the pool. There was people sitting down along the edge, a person who had their toe in, and who are hips in the water. And so when it came to me, they're just like, oh, who are you? I said, well, I'm the person who has a toe in the water. And they're just like, why? I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't read the Bible. Yes, I'll pray, but like not there. So just like I'm not really connected to God, as I can say. But like with the Urban Promises, how it was just like I'm getting closer and closer like every day.
Every
So
day.
Like,
It just brings me closer every day.
Back to what you said about the pool. I remember looking at that picture, and there was a guy who was looking at himself in a mirror. And when I was young, I used to go to church, but I hated going there. Absolutely. Only time I was happy to go there is when they're giving snacks. And when the snacks were bad,
There's always a snack.
my day was ruined. Like I was rushing home. I did not want to wake up to go there. I would say I'm sick, right? And then further on to my life, I started praying to God, right? But like it was of selfish reasons. I started praying, ask me, help me, talk to this girl, help me get a good on this test, help me find, my house key that I lost. And that went on until I came to Camp Hope, right? And that was the first time like I prayed properly in a group, and I saw the effect that praying together for something that is better, for better than yourself, greater than yourself, like a collective success. I seen like the power of that, and since then I've been trying to pray towards things that are not for myself, but things that are for other people and the people around me. And that I want to get closer to God because I was never close with Him ever. So I'm still on that journey, but at least now I'm starting to take proper steps.
No, it's true, and it's like with my journey with God, it's been like a roller coaster of things to like, being mad at Him and angry. Like, it's just certain things in my life I was like, if you're really God, then why are all of these things happening? And why is it happening like weeks or like months apart, or just like, why is it like a back-to-back thing? And it's just like, even sometimes I even look at the community I'm in, I'm just like, yo, why is it like overrun with all of these like negative things? Like, why is it so easy for me to do bad? Like, why is it so easy for me to like, do bad and harder for me to be a good person? Because like being a good person, like it's hard. It is really hard to do that, especially when you're dealing with like so much physical, mental, spiritual things that are just trying to get you every single day. And it's just like,
it's hard, man. It's hard.
Well, that segue into the next question, actually. So what is a challenge that you have overcome or you're currently walking through and overcoming?
For me, I would say being patient was definitely a thing that was hard for me to definitely overcome. Because I'm just like this type of person, if I want it, I need it right in that moment. So like that's why I say again, like working with the kids, like I like it because it's a challenge. It challenges me every day. So when the kids are being very like, annoying and being very impatient, I kind of have to like, take that leadership and exert my patience now with the kids. So that's why I like, and I think I definitely grew on my patience. Definitely did. And I thank God for it every day.
That's good.
I guess for me, what I struggle to overcome and I'm still going through, and I didn't even know it was a thing until like I was like right in the middle of it, and that's my mental health. Like I had no idea like it ran so deep. Like I'm talking about things that happened to me since I was like 5, 6
years old.
7, 10, and it's like all of those years are coming back to you like at once. And it's just like my personality, because of some of the traumas that happened to me when I was young, is I became a people pleaser. Like if I helped a lot of people and people were like gravitated to me, I will not feel alone, because that was like one of the things that I was scared of when I was young, is just to be alone. Like I never liked being alone. That's why I was loud and like taking up the room. That was just like my personality. And then realizing that I couldn't say no. That was
growing up, it wasn't easy. Like there has been like a lot of things that I can't even talk about because just like I just buried them, and now it's like catching up with me into like my teenage years, and it's just like even now like my mental health is non-existent. I can tell you that. Like I'm so busy and dealing with so many things. It's just like
for me. And that's what like I always admired about camp. Is like it's a workplace, but they still see the person. They still see what you're going through, and they still see like at the end of the day, like it's bigger than a paycheck, you know?
Yeah.
It's bigger than yourself. It's bigger than us. It's God, you know? Like they're trying to help
We
you.
become a family. We become a whole.
Yeah.
At this point, this is what it is, like a little mini family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny too, because other people like from the outside looking in, it's just like, why are you hanging out with these people? Like, why are you guys all so like buddy and tight? And it's just like it makes no sense. And it's just like I have friends from the West End, I have friends from Jay and Finch, I have friends from like all over the city, and it's just like if we're going into like the hood politics, all of these different neighborhoods shouldn't be talking to each other, you know? And it's just like camp allowed that bridge to be there and to have that understanding. Like, you know, it's not always about a hood beef thing. You know, it doesn't always have to be about, you know, like you did this to me in 06, now I'm gonna, you know, like it's just so stupid to hear, but like that's the reality of things right now. And it's just like to have community between like different communities that used to have beef and like find love, like that's powerful in itself.
I just want to touch back on the mental health topic. A lot of you guys were nodding your heads, so like just it seems like, well, especially after the pandemic, there's been a lot of struggle, right? And it's exacerbated a lot of the struggles that you guys have. So with that being said, do you find that there are resources, enough resources within your community for you to utilize in order to get the help that you need to be at a place where you're managing your mental health well?
Most definitely not. I guess, like,
Honestly, I was trying to like, think of something. I was like, what should I say? But honestly, from the outside looking in, it really doesn't seem like there's any help at all. Because I see, like, I'm not even gonna hold you, like, you know, I used to live in my old neighborhood. I don't live there no more, but living there, I see all the, you know, people living in the community. Some of them are very clearly unhealthy, and it's like there's no help giving to them whatsoever. Like, they'll be walking outside all hours in the morning throwing signs up like, go home. Come on, like, your health is your number one thing. It should be your number one thing. And I feel like the community can definitely help with like getting these people in the right direction. And I feel like that's a big step that we have to learn how to take. And also, not saying that we need to rely on the community, because we can also take that step with ourselves. Like, people living in a community can take that step and help each other too, you know, just checking in with each other. Like, how was your day? You know, how was your week? How was work? You know, do you need me to help watch your kids for a few hours? Do you need to go and, you know, it's little nice gestures like that, you know? Just hearing, you know, my black mom growing up talking, you know, hearing her struggles, now I see what she means and seeing it for myself. And it's hard. It really is.
I feel like when it comes to like the mental health in like our community, especially in Glenmorgan, I feel like trust needs to be built within the residents. Even though like they live in the same neighborhood and like they see each other, there's no trust at all. You can't step outside in our community and feel safe. You always have to fear for your life. So just like that mental health, like that's something that cannot go away. There's always violence
everywhere you turn.
There's always violence, and like just recently we have lost someone who was close to us over something really stupid. So just like that broke our community. After trying building it up, it just completely shattered.
It's till this day. It's still like
till this day,
it seems like there's like a small part missing, and it's just catered.
Like, and when something bad happens, that's when people want to show up and say, oh yeah, this happened because of so and so. But just like when we try reaching for help, we get the door shut in our face. So like, what can we do? If every way we turn,
the door is slammed in our face.
Exactly.
It's just been hard because now I'm getting older, and it's just like, you know how like you see that person on the block that's like obviously using drugs, right? And it's like, sorry for like term, but like the neighborhood crackhead, you know? And you just see them and you're just like, oh, this person is just gonna be doing this for the rest of your life, right? But now I started asking myself, like, who were they before like they started using? And like now I'm seeing my own friends that they can potentially be that, and that's where it's kind of like breaking my heart, because this mental health thing goes so deep. And it's just like now that I'm getting older, it's becoming more serious. It's becoming more like these are my people. Like this is my brother. Like he's doing this to himself, or like he's doing this and he doesn't even understand like how deep this goes. You know, sometimes being there for that person is not enough if they're not willing to be there for themselves.
It's exhausting.
And it's just like I can't be that person to hold your hand every time. Like at some point, like you have to like grow up and like understand that trauma doesn't define you.
I like that.
You know, like just because you went through something, it doesn't mean like that's going to like mold you the rest of your life. Like, you know, God is bigger than trauma and bigger than the things that you went through. And I had to realize that myself because I started going down like a negative path. And it was just like, am I going to let this control me, or am I going to let like be given to God? And he can find a way to make this dirt into like a beautiful soil and grow flowers out of it, you know?
There's a saying, difficult roads will lead you to beautiful destinations. So no matter what difficult road you've gone through or going through, it would always lead you to a beautiful destination in the end.
That's facts.
Right? And then God will hand the toughest times, the toughest people he knows, because he knows that they'll overcome it.
For me, I have a very different story from you guys. But growing up, having to deal with things on my own because my mom was a nurse, so she was always gone, and I had a babysitter. It was me and my sister. So often through my difficult experiences growing up, it was either through my sister or through drawing, because that's what I can do good. And you know, high school only made that a million times worse, right? But by the time I got to high school, I was going to Urban Promise, so I had more people and more things to like vent to and communicate my difficulties. Although it may sound corny, but for me, I've always solved my problems, and like whenever I'm feeling like mentally down, I just play video games because they're like the best thing on the planet, you know?
How do you guys plan on giving back to your community in the future?
What I can envision myself is knowing the experience that I had growing up and seeing taking a step back and just looking in, I can see that stuff is now affecting my own community. So when I would be older, I can say that I want to try preventing those things from happening before they happen.
Okay, yes.
When I'm older and established and all that, the way I see myself helping out the community is definitely, I see myself opening up a place where, you know, the people who are less fortunate can come, they could get a fresh plate of food and, you know, clean up themselves, and then, you know, feel free to stay there and be safe. Yeah.
For the community at Cataraqui, I just want to like make it an actual safe place. It is not safe right now. I don't think it's going to be in the near future, but I want to make it so that everyone there can feel as if they belong there and that they can go outside freely.
That's a fact.
You know, maybe when I become super rich, you know, maybe I could, you know, make a new community center or expand 52 because it is small, but that building is like the amount
It's a lot of things.
You know,
it's a lot of things.
The amount of worth that small building has is bigger than any building on this planet. So like being able to expand that building or being able to like just build a new community center that, you know, has people there all the time. Exactly. I know the one at Warden Woods is there, but I don't ever see people going there.
Bro, and it's not a community center.
Exactly. It's just a building. I want a community center where people can, they're like, oh, what do I do? Like, I'm feeling sad. Oh, you know, Matthias' community center is over there. I'm going to go there. I want to have staff there that want to interact with people, that want to help people. You know, I want to be there. I want to see how it's doing too. And I want to be able to actually say that I'm there helping, not just the one who put it there and left it to be. You know, I would like to see change in this community because I never had to grow up with that. So I don't think anybody should have to grow up with that.
Facts. I want to give back a culture that tells the community, the people of the community, that we can do this. If they're not going to help us, we can find the resources to help each other out. And I think that's like a lot of the things where like some communities get it like wrong, is like the world is not here to help you. Like I've learned that from like a really young age. Like people come and go, and it's just like the people that really stay are the people that live here. And like things are not going to get better until we say we need things to get better. And like that's how movements were started back then. Like when we saw a reoccurring issue, we said it can't be this way anymore, and we need to take action. And that's what I want to instill into the community, is like action, and to actually talk about, not just talk about, but actually do those things. And that's what I want to give back, a culture that teaches people that we have our own power. We just have to give into it.
Yeah. And I think to close, like what's amazing is that you guys are already doing that, creating that culture and being the change that you want to see. And you guys are from these communities, or you're becoming a part of it, right? So I just want to like also remind you guys are already starting that change. So don't ever think that you have to have this big house or community center or be this big athlete to make the change. You guys are already doing it. So thank you for doing it with Urban Promise, because we couldn't do it without you guys. So thank you guys for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
They are a great group of youth, Christine.
They are.
Right. I see a lot of bright futures ahead. And our prayer and hope is that they will be the restoring influence in their communities. And this amazing group of street leaders, only a few of which you saw today, are who we are raising funds for.
Your gift today provides 40 street leaders with volunteer and employment opportunities year-round for our leaders to serve in our after-school programs, March break, and summer camp.
It also provides experiential leadership development training opportunities through excursions and retreats and professionally led workshops on career pathways, communication, time management, financial management, and goal setting.
And it gives them access to necessary mental health support via counseling and peer group therapy through trained psychotherapists.
So, would you today consider giving your most generous gift to support these street leaders and Rise 2022?
Well, I hope you are excited about what you heard and saw in our camps and from our young leaders. They're just amazing what they do. And so thank you for listening. And you know, you hear a lot about the challenges, the marginalization in our communities and the barriers that our youth go through. But to hear these testimonies, to hear these stories, that gets me excited. I hope you are excited too, because you're hearing what's good in our communities and what God is doing. You know, it reminds me of Jesus. He's at the mountainside with his disciples in Matthew chapter 5, and he turns to them, he tells them who they are, and he says to them, you are the salt and light. And he's giving them their identity. And Jesus says to them, in the same way, let your light shine before others, so they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father who's in heaven. And that's what we see in our young leaders, despite the challenges that they're going through, that they will shine their light wherever they go. Our vision is a generation of young leaders who love Jesus and serve their community, spreading that light here in Toronto, across Canada, and globally. And so I want to thank you for taking the time to listen in and watch and learn more about Urban Promise and hear these stories. I want to thank you for your partnership and joining us on this journey, this 20-year journey with a child and their family. And so if you haven't yet done so, like I said in the beginning, this is a fundraiser, and I would love for you to support what we're doing. Support these young leaders, support the work that's happening in Toronto Community Housing, and make an investment today. Tell a friend, share this video. But what I ask you is just to pray and consider donating to what's happening in our city. Thank you for your partnership and financially investing in these young leaders, seeing what we see in them and believing in them, and journeying alongside them to being salt and light in this world. Take care and God bless you.
Thank you so much for your generosity.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your donation and your generous heart.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your generosity.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your donations.
Thank you so much for your generosity.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your generosity. We can't do it without the people surrounding Urban Promise. We're so grateful for all of you.
多謝你嘅支持喎。
Thank you for your support. Danke!
Thank you for your support. We really appreciate you.